Standing room only. So bottom of the second inning, 1-0 LSU on the double in the second inning by Coombs and the sac fly by Nickens. It'll be Molson, Finn, and Rowland against the tough, tall right-hander Mitch Seawald. 6'6", throws 91 to 94. Molson with a 15-game hitting streak. He had 2 home runs against Phoenix College. Digs in from the left side against the tall right-hander. Seawald's pitch swung and hammered deep to left field. Zach LaFleur back to the wall. This ball is gone, a home run. Cal Molson hits number 4, and we're tied at 1 here in the bottom of the second inning. Cal Molson with 3 home runs in his last 3 ball games goes the opposite way, and that just cleared the fence in left field, and we are tied at 1 here in the bottom of the second inning. Just the second home run of the season given up by Mitch Seawald. We are tied at 1 here in the bottom of the second inning on a leadoff opposite field home run by Cal Molson. Molson swinging a hot bat, 3 home runs in his last 3 games. We're tied at 1 here in the bottom of the second. Here's Kenny Finn, the shortstop. Seawald's pitch, fastball in for a strike of the knees on the inside corner to the right-handed hitter. It is 0-1 on Kenny Finn. Finn 3 for 12 in the Phoenix series, hitting .310, no home runs, 20 RBIs. For the Illinois native, the 0-1 pitch, changeup miss low and outside. It is 1-1. Of course, Kenny out of Algonquin, Illinois, a sophomore, 6 foot 165. Mitch Seawald allowing just his second home run of the season to Molson. The 1-1 pitch, fastball low and inside, 2-1. It maybe rattled him a little bit. Seawald 12-1, 1.97 ERA coming in. He is 6'6". Out of Houston, Texas, throwing down at home plate. The 2-1 pitch, fastball low, 3-1. Seawald leads the nation in Division II and wins with 12. Maybe rattled a little bit after giving up the opposite field home run to Cal Molson. The 3-1 pitch to Finn, swung and fouled at home plate as it rolls back to the backstop. 3-2 on Kenny Finn. We are tied at 1 here in the bottom of the second inning. Scottsdale batting, nobody out, nobody on the opposite field home run by Cal Molson. 3-2 on Finn. Here's the pitch. Fastball low. It hit the home plate and kicked back to the backstop, and hustling to first base Kenny Finn, but the ball bounced back to the catcher Romero, and Finn having to hold at first base on a walk. So Seawald may have been rattled a little bit on that home run by Kenny Finn. Just the second home run allowed by Seawald on the season. Finn at first base, nobody out, tied at 1. Scottsdale batting in the bottom of the second inning. The rain has stopped, and here's Matt Rowland, the first baseman. Philadelphia native digs in from the right side. Finn 1 foot out on the AstroTurf, 1 on the dirt at first base. Held on by Sensley. Pitch to Rowland, breaking ball high. It's 1-0, and Seawald certainly appears to be affected by that home run to Molson. Rowland with an 8-game hitting streak, right-handed hitting first baseman, hitting in the 7 spot, 4 for 12 against Phoenix College. Hitting .291 and 110 at-bats, 4 home runs, 16 RBIs. Nobody out, Finn off at first. The 1-0 pitch, fastball low and outside, 2-0. So 6'6" right-hander Mitch Seawald, the #1 starter for LSU Eunice, appeared to be ruffled after the home run by Cal Molson, and a trip to the mound by the entire infield as well as the catcher Romero to try to get Mitch Seawald to regroup. Seawald out of Rummel High School in Houston, Texas, 6'6", a redshirt sophomore, and coming in at 6'6". When you're batting against a guy that tall, the ball seems to get in on you before you can bat an eye. We're tied at 1 here in the bottom of the second inning. Scottsdale batting. They tied it on the solo home run by Cal Molson. Nobody out, Kenny Finn at first. He's 5 for 7 in stolen bases. 1 foot out on the AstroTurf. The 2-0 pitch to Rowland, fastball low and inside. 3-0 on Matt Rowland. Rowland attended Louisville University and understand plans to go to Tulane next year. Finn off at first, nobody out, the 3-0 pitch. Fastball low, and Rowland walks on 4 pitches. 2 consecutive walks by Mitch Seawald after the home run by Cal Molson. Head coach Jeff Willis in his 13th year for LSUE. They've never finished lower than 7th in the polls, and trip to the mound by the pitching coach of LSUE as well as the entire infield trying to get Mitch Seawald back on the train, or back on the tracks. Get the train back on the tracks. LSU going to run in the second inning off of Jared Bell on a double by Coombs. Went to third on a wild pitch / pass ball. He scored on a sac fly by Madison Nickens. In the second inning, which we're in, we're tied at 1 here in the bottom of the second. Scott still batting. Cal Molson led off with an opposite field home run. Kenny Finn walked, and Matt Rowland, who's down at first base, walked on 4 pitches as Seawald a bit rattled after giving up just his second home run of the season. So LSU has never finished lower than 7th in the polls in the nation in the 13 years that head coach Jeff Willis has been there. Nobody out. Finn at second, Rowland at first. Here's Zach Taylor, the DH, who's hit in 17 of his last 18 games. He's hitting .266, a home run, 25 RBIs from the right side. Let's see what they have him doing here. And Seawald, the pitcher, spins and does not throw to second as the shortstop Bozeman trying to keep Finn close at second base. Will Fry will hit behind Taylor, doing the catching and hitting in the 9 spots. Zach Taylor out of Horizon High School in Scottsdale. Finn the lead run at second, Rowland at first. We're tied at 1, bottom of the second inning, nobody out. The pitch to Taylor, fastball low and inside, and that is 6 consecutive balls that have missed the strike zone by right-hander Mitch Seawald. He only walked 20 in 86 innings on the season. Finn at second, Rowland at first. Seawald has missed the strike zone on 6 consecutive pitches. The 1-0 pitch. In for a strike of the knees and a fastball, 1-1. Rain is out of the area. The cloudy skies are still out here, but a little bit of breaks down to the south and to the east, and no rain right now, and it feels pretty good out here. Of course, we had flooding rains across the state of Oklahoma on Saturday. Now ball gets out on the field down the left field line. Mentioned early on, the outfield, which is grass, the infield is field turf, but that outfield is just a mess because of all the flooding rains that we have had. Where each of the outfielders stands, it is really torn up. Hard to get your footing out there. In fact, Kenny Finn, the shortstop, slipped, fell on his backside going after a ball out in left field early on. That ball was eventually caught by the left fielder Cal Molson. 1-1 on Zach Taylor, the DH for Scottsdale. We're tied at 1 here in the bottom of the second. Scottsdale batting. Finn at second, Rowland at first. Right-hander Mitch Seawald from the stretch. A long look at second. The 1-1 pitch swung on and fouled at home plate on a big rip on a low fastball to Zach Taylor. Again, we want to give a shout out to Landon Russo's grandfather. George Russo just turned 88 on Saturday. George and Pat listening and watching to the game in Hollis, New Hampshire. His Aunt Tammy flew out to Enid, left before any of the games started. This was supposed to be, I really appreciate everybody tuning in, especially George and Pat, Landon's grandparents, out in New Hampshire. Then at second, Rowland at first. Nobody out for Scottsdale, tied at 1, bottom of the second inning. Changeup curve way outside on the 1-2 pitch. Seawald, one of the top pitchers in the country, right here having some control struggles, and Scottsdale really needs to take advantage of that before he gets his bearings. On the season, Seawald 12-1 in 86 innings, 1.97 ERA. We're tied at 1 here in the bottom of the second. Nobody out, runners at first and second for Scottsdale. The 2-2 pitch to Taylor, swung on and line foul into the netting first base side and ricochets into the first base dugout belonging to LSU. The dimensions here at David Allen Memorial Ballpark, they played the first Junior College World Series game here in 2009. The stadium was built, I believe, 1998 is when this opened, but the World Series has been here since 2009. Runners off first and second, nobody out for the Artichokes. 2-2 pitch, grounded towards second. To his left, Caswell to second one. Bozeman's relay to first in time for a 4-6-3 double play. 2 down, and Finn goes to third. So Taylor bounces into a 4-6-3 double play, and that really got to make Seawald, the pitcher, feel good. Finn at third base, now 2 down for the hot-hitting Will Fry. Scottsdale has not played a game in 16 days. LSU last played 9 days ago. Fry, the MVP of the championship series. Left-handed hitter takes low and inside on the fastball, 1-0. Tied at 1 here in the bottom of the second inning. Scottsdale designated home team, LSU at Eunice, visiting team. 2 down, Finn at third. The 1-0 pitch to Fry bounces out in front of home plate, knocked down by Romero. 2-0 on left-handed hitting catcher Will Fry. Will hitting .282 and 124 at-bats, 2 home runs, 18 RBIs. He was 7 for 8 in that Phoenix series, 2 home runs, earning MVP honors in that championship series. The 2-0 pitch swung on Habern on the ground, under the glove of the second baseman Caswell into right field, and scoring on the play is Finn from second. It is 2-1 Scottsdale here in the bottom of the second inning. Now, I'll be curious if they give that a hit or an error. It was hit very hard, but going to his left, Caswell, the second baseman, probably should have had it. It went just under his glove. That will be a base hit. Will Fry picking up RBI 19. It was hit very hard, and Scottsdale leading 2-1 here in the bottom of the second inning. Fry at first base. Here's Justin Erlinson, the center fielder, tapped back to the mound. Back in the first inning, the right-handed hitter takes a fastball on the outside part of the plate at the knees for a strike. It's 0-1. So an RBI single with 2 outs. Will Fry now 8 for his last 9. It is 2-1 Scottsdale here on the bottom of the second inning. Fry at first. Short lead held on by Sensley. The 0-1 pitch to Erlinson, swung and fouled straight back to this backstop netting. 0-2 on Justin Erlinson. He bounced back to the mound in the first inning. Fry just 1 stolen base on the season. Both feet on the dirt. Off of first base, held on by Sensley. 2 down, the 0-2 pitch. Strike 3 called, and a fastball at the knees to Justin Erlinson, and he strikes out. But in the bottom of the second inning, Scottsdale takes the lead on 2 runs. 2 hits, no errors. They strand 1. The leadoff opposite field home run by Cal Molson. The walk to Kenny Finn, and the RBI single with 2 outs by Will Fry. Scottsdale leading 2-1 as we head to the top of the third inning. I'm going to stay right here.